Hello and welcome to the replay. I'll be with you in just a moment. Hello there. How are you tonight? Well, I have a big project ready for you guys today, and it is the first part of a two-part series. I'm going to do the second half of this tomorrow night, but it is going to be a project workshop that I will be offering in Massachusetts. Hi, Cindy. I live in the western part of Massachusetts, so if you are in that area, be sure that you are in my VIP group. If you are not, you're missing out on live classes as well as some of my awesome sales that I have a couple times a year. So be sure to write VIP in the comments if you are not there already. My name is Susan Tapley, and I am a designer with Choc Couture, and I'm a team leader from my team is called the Chocapellas, and I have designers all over the country that I work with and help to start their own businesses as well. So if you are interested in learning more about starting your own Choc Couture business and getting paid to create like I do, please write join in the comment. You don't have to join. I'm just going to send you some cool information. So, how are you doing tonight, Cindy? I have my website right here, just below. I will remove that in a little while so that you can see everything that I'm doing. I'm going to turn my camera so that you can see my project. So before I came live tonight, a little while ago, I posted a question, and it was, pumpkins, rustic or jack-o'-lantern? I got some pretty interesting feedback on that. I got lots of rustic, so I think we're going to do some rustic pumpkins tonight. And I also had somebody who said rustic jack-o'-lantern. So I'm like, interesting idea. So maybe we'll do some of that too. So before I get started, let me show you what I have brought with me today. Let me flip my cameras around. Hold on, here we go. Just when I think I know what I'm doing, huh? There we go. All right, so let me pop that here. So this afternoon I was in my new studio where I've been teaching some workshops and classes, and I remembered that I had these two adorable pumpkins that I made last year. These are Choc Couture pumpkins. They come pre-cut and ready to create on. So this one I chalked the mini buffalo plaid transfer on, and this one was a polka dot pattern. I've also tied some chalkable chips on there and some ribbons, and they're so, so cute. This is what they look like when you first get them, and we're going to be working on these tonight. But I wanted to show you something really fun about these, is that they are double-sided. You can flip them over, and if you don't want Halloween on both sides, you can make Thanksgiving designs on them. Is that the coolest thing ever? I love the versatility of being able to just turn my double-sided projects and have something that, hi Charlene, you got it, babe. And it takes up less room to store things, and this is so, it's just convenient. I don't want to go down in the basement and pull out all those boxes and switch everything over for the holidays. So this is a perfect solution. You get, it's kind of like a buy one get one deal, right? So we got Thanksgiving on one side, and we've got our kind of cutesy Halloween on this side. Whoops. I just have these tied down there loosely so I can change them every now and then. So tonight we're going to be doing the same pumpkins, but we're going to do them different. We're going to make them different. So I'm excited to get this one started, and we're going to do Rustic. Aren't they cute, Cindy? They're adorable. The transfers that I used on those are still available, but we're going to use a new version of this. Here are my two pumpkins. Super cute, and again, they come very, very plain, just like this, and double-sided. So the new, it's called the Jack-o'-lantern transfer, and this is a big transfer. You get a big pumpkin for the larger cutout. You get the smaller pumpkin for the smaller cutout. Not only that, but this kind comes with different faces that you can use. There's 3 different faces. It's going to be hard to pick, you guys, if we decide to put faces on these. Also this one. So I've also seen people make cute faces for their scarecrows with these transfers. So that is something to keep in mind. Hi, Annie. So tomorrow night we're gonna complete this whole series, and again, this is a workshop that I'm gonna be offering in Western Mass. And tomorrow night we're gonna work on the final part of this transfer, and it's the Jack-o'-lantern Shining Bright part of the transfer. And we're going to do this on a reversible, double-sided box frame. So again, we can have Halloween on one side, flip it over, and we can put Merry Christmas on the other. So, speaking of Christmas, tomorrow is Friday. I am going to be going to kind of a virtual convention, a mini convention with my company, and I get to see all of the new Christmas transfers that are coming out on the 15th. So there are, I believe, 27 new Christmas transfers, and yes, I ordered every single one of them. Call me crazy. Hi, Leslie. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I think we're going to start. I think we'll start with the little pumpkin first because it's cute and it's little. Now, you're going to notice that the stem has a direction, so you're going to want to use the right side of your transfer. If you want to do the other side, I would suggest you use something like that mini buffalo plaid, polka dots, or one of our other texture kinds of transfers, because it's very, very difficult to use a transfer on the wrong side of your surface. The wrong side of your transfer on the right side of your surface. I don't know how to say that correctly. So I'm going to peel this off of the transfer. These are reusable, double-sided, reusable transfers. And I'm just going to peel it from the carrier sheet for now. And normally the first thing I would do is fuzz these transfers. But because we are working on a big surface that has very, very little of the transfer that's going to actually attach itself to our pumpkin, I'm not going to fuzz it because I want it to be pretty sticky so it doesn't wiggle around while I'm using it. So getting it in the right spot is the trickiest part. So let's see if we can get this on there. I think I got the stem. Let's see if I can get the rest of the pumpkin without too much trouble. Let's see. I know that the transfer is a smidge larger than the wood cutout itself, so that's pretty good. Okay. I think I need to move this. Do I? Look at these. Okay. I do need to move it just a little bit. Always, right? Let's see if that fits there. That looks good there. Sometimes it's easier to do this if you have a second set of hands helping you. I know that's a lot of Christmas. I can't wait. I've seen the titles of them, and oh my gosh, they all sound amazing. All right, so we're going to be working in a very large open area. The teal that you can see is the only part that's attached to this pumpkin. So there's a couple things we're going to want to keep in mind while we're working on this. First of all, get it down as tightly as you can. Only the little blue areas are what's sticking to your surface. So I'm actually going to wrap this around and grab it on the side. See if I can hold it down that way. No, that's creating a bend, so I guess not. So try to get that done as tightly as you can. And it does help if you take your rubber squeegee and just sort of rub it down. We want this nice and tight if we can. That's why I didn't fuzz it. There's not a lot of grip area. There we go. All right, So, rustic pumpkins. I'm going to pull you guys in a little closer, and I'm also going to move my little bar there so you can see what I'm doing. I have all of my Halloween pumpkin colors out here. I've got my favorite papaya, which always makes a beautiful pumpkin. I've got orange peel. I have shimmer harvest. I've got bumblebee. And just for ha-has, I brought out this one. It's called shimmer red. So when I blend the red and the orange together, I think that would look kind of cool and kind of rustic too. I've also got browns and blacks, and we are going to, I think I'm going to use the brown actually, and papaya, because I love those two colors together. So before you get started, you're always going to want to stir up your chalk paste. This one, I have used so much paste lately. So much of these colors. Okay, Leslie, I know you're excited about Christmas ones. What would you like to see? While I'm stirring this out, we can talk about that. It's a little bit thick, so I'm going to add some distilled water and stir it up till it's kind of a cake batter consistency. I really need to work this jar a little bit. What would you guys like to see for Christmas transfers? I'm pretty excited. All I have are the names. I can't tell you what they look like, but I have some names. And I can't think of one of them off the top of my head right now. All right, so that is stirred. I need a little dish to throw this in. And I'm also going to stir up the papaya. I just might need another jar of this. Yep, I'm going to just pull out a new jar because this one's almost empty. Like a fresh jar of paste. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, it smells nice. It smells like baby powder tonight. So I'm going to give this a good stir, and later tonight when I'm done with this live, I'll probably scoop out what's left in the other jar of papaya and just pop it in here. This looks beautiful. It's nice and creamy and smooth, just the way we like it. All right, so to make a rustic pumpkin, we're going to do a few things. All of them. Okay. I can do that. I can get you one of every single one, Leslie. All right. So when you're doing a rustic kind of pumpkin, we're going to do some shading. If I was just going to do a straight off, kind of a youthful jack-o'-lantern kind of pumpkin, I would probably just do it all in orange peel and call it a day. But this one, nope, we're going to get fancy. So you may have seen me do this before. Shading is fun. It can be a little messy, so let me grab a paper towel. So we're going to do a little bit of ombre with this. And if you haven't done that before, it's really a fun technique. And yeah, I use it a lot. So when you're working with a transfer that has a large open area like this, there's one thing that I want you to always keep in mind. When you put it down on your surface, it doesn't stick tightly because there's like nothing in this area to hold it to the surface. So because of that, we're going to always start filling in the whole area from the center out. If you start over here, you're just going to kind of work an air bubble into it. So start in the center and spread out, up, down, and around instead of just straight down or right across. Start in the center and work your way out. Does that make sense? So before we start doing our papaya, we're going to do some shading with the bark. Bark is a beautiful, beautiful color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the areas where I figured out the word for this. These are like pumpkin segments. So I'm going to kind of look for where those segments are and where the natural shadings would be on a pumpkin. So it would be very little bit inside of those segments. I'm not going to go around the edge, even though that would be shaded. We're going to use ink for that. Up here where the stem meets the pumpkin, there's some like folds where it would be a little bit darker in nature. And then I'm gonna cover those with the bark, and then we're gonna go and cover it all with papaya and blend it all together. Sound good? It's a plan. All right, so as you know, probably the most important thing to do when you are chalking is to work quickly, because the chalk paste dries at a phenomenal rate, and we want to get our pasting and pulling of the transfer off before it's dry. Otherwise, you're going to pull your paste up with your transfer. In this case, I'm trying to make a rustic pumpkin, so you know what? Having that little rough area that it would pull up, Cindy can attest to this. It kind of looks cool. We tried a little project this morning, Cindy and I, and she was doing a potion bottle. I can't talk while I chalk. And it, when you pulled it up, it looked a little bit rustic, and it looked great. All right, so that's all covered. Now I'm going to go in with my papaya, and I'm just going to plop some on here. And working from the center, as I said before, I'm going to grab my squeegee and start spreading from the center out. I'm going to go kind of right to those brown lines that I already did, but not into it if I can help it. I'm just working around it. And you have to be really cautious watching for that stuff to dry. We don't want it drying. Okay, we're looking good so far. I'm going to go right to the edges over here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take my finger and wet it just a little bit with my distilled water. I always tap my finger off, and then you're going to go in, oops, I'm trying to work quickly here, and blend where the orange meets the brown. Just kind of do a circular motion, round and around and around, so you get right up to the top. And you can hardly see like a severe line. It should blend really nicely, and that's going to give you some awesome shading. If you start to feel your paste getting a little draggy, like this one already is, that means you need to move quickly because it's starting to dry already. Oops, I just got that a little wetter than I wanted it to, but it'll be okay, I think. All right, now I think I'm going to actually dab a little bit of this orange on here by the top. And again, go in and blend that part too, the top part. There we go, looks good. All right, I'm going to do the stem also in bark. I'm working really quickly here. Let's scrape the excess off. Then I'm going to go back in with my big squeegee and scrape off most of the excess paste that's still on here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Don't put it back in your jar. What am I thinking? Just wipe it off on a napkin on the side or paper towel. So you're going to try to work out all of the lines that you might see, but if you start to feel like your chalk or your squeegee is dragging along, that means it's drying. So work quickly and pull it off. I think we are good. Okay, you ready? A little bit right there I wanted to grab. Okay, let's peel this off. Hopefully we're really good. There we go. How's that? I really like it. I'll pull that up so you can see it a little closer. And we're going to dry this. I'm going to hit it with the heat tool and dry this for just a minute or two. Let me put these to the side for now. I try to keep my jars covered as much as possible. I need to clean this one because I put orange paste in it. No papaya in the bark, please. So I'm just going to cover those while I'm drying because the more air that's your chalk is exposed to, the more chance it has of getting hard or lumpy. So just kind of keep it covered. Thanks, Cindy. All right, so let's dry this up a little bit. And then we'll do the larger one. So the big question of the night is, should we put a jack-o'-lantern face on one or more of these pumpkins? Thanks, Leslie. Hi, Tammy. Thank you. So I could leave this just to air dry if I wanted to. It would take, this was a little bit heavier with chalk because it's such a large opening. So it might take 10 or 15 minutes for this to dry completely. But I'm using a heat tool right now. This is a super high concentrated heat. They want to keep moving, or you can actually boil your chalk with it, so be careful with that, and don't burn your skin either. You can also use a hair dryer if you'd like to, or just let it air dry, whichever you prefer. I love the way this looks. All right, should we add a little more grunge to this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is called Distress ink, and I like to use Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo. I also have it in, I think it's called Soot or something. It's a black. Those are the two colors that I use for the most part. And I'm using a dauber on my finger. It's kind of like a thimble with a sponge on the end of it. So what you're going to do is to dab your dauber into the ink and just kind of go around the edges of your piece. It adds just a subtle little bit of shading around the edges, and it kind of just gives it more dimension. So I always recommend that people start with a light touch when they're distressing their pieces, especially light colored pieces. Can you see the difference already in that? Sorry. Not yet, huh? So I'm just going to go along the edge. Start, again, like I said, with a light touch, and you can always add more. It's not easy to get off, but it's easy to put down. Putting it down. You can also, see how these are really, really white in the middle? I actually might hit those with some of this too. I love the grubby old vintagey kind of pumpkins and things. Grub it up, right? You need some pumpkin cutouts. I got some of those, Cindy. These are so cute. I just did something that I would recommend that you don't do, is just like slide it along the edge. That gives you a very sharp line, and you want to keep it nice and soft. Just kind of tap it along the edge, and that's how you get that blended kind of look. What do you think? Should I go over those white parts with a little bit too? Oh yeah, that looks better. I think I'm going to go over that white. It's a little too stark for my grubby little antique pumpkins here. So I'm going to just take my dauber again and brush it over the areas that look white. Yeah, that's better. Can you see the difference? So kind of follow the direction the lines are going for the different segments of your pumpkin. Get those little white dots too. Yeah, that's much better. Look dirty. Dirty pumpkins. The lines are a bit bright. I agree. I agree. There. How fun is that? Okay, got all of it. Now you could go along the edges and do all that too if you want to. That's completely up to you, but this is looking really good. Nice and grubby like I like it. Okay, so the bigger pumpkin that I'm going to do, yeah, that looks good. Blend a little right here. Just keep blending and adding as much as you want. Yeah, it looks like it's an antique now. Let's see if I can pull my light around a little further for you. Darn it. Here we go. So cute, huh? So the next pumpkin that I'm going to do is the larger one. And I'm thinking about putting something like this on top of it. I have these little stars. I must have painted these years ago, and I had them in a box with all my acrylic paints. There's glue gunk on them, but look how cute that looks on there. These crazy lights of mine. Can you see how that looks? But I was thinking of putting one of these on the bigger pumpkin. So the question is, do we want to have a jack-o'-lantern face, or do we just want to leave it grown up? So this one, I'm thinking, would be really cute with a bigger star on it, kind of layered like this. You could glue them together or not, doesn't really matter, but that would eliminate using the jack-o'-lantern face. Let's see if we can get it all in there. What do you guys think? All right, while you're thinking about that, I am going to put this pumpkin aside, and I'm going to get the larger one ready to attach to the cutout. So this one's a little bit bigger, so it really would be nice to have some extra hands with me. Let me back up just a little so you can see this. I found that the easiest way is to start at the stem and find a happy place for it up there where it's mostly covered by the transfer, like there, and then work the rest of the pumpkin, which is just slightly bigger than the pumpkin itself. No face, leave it. Okay, you got it. So what I wish I had brought home with me, Cindy, while we were together this morning, we used a little bit of raffia, and I left it in my workshop, which is not in my home, so I can't go grab it. I just moved it. Darn it. But I would tie a little bit of raffia on here, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. So in the class that I'm holding, I still have to set a date for it. It's going to be a couple weeks out. We will be making the 2 pumpkins as well as the sign. So you'll have to let me know if that is something you're interested in, and we can make it happen for you. Okay, I think I got it. All right, so again, these are hard because they don't have a lot of transfer that actually sticks to the surface. So you gotta work them in. A little piece of stuff down here. Pull that out. And we're gonna do this one in the exact same way we did the smaller one. That was our practice one, right? Yes, you left me your apron. Yeah. So I'm finding that I have these aprons that I wear that I have available for the people in my workshops lately, because I just don't want anyone ruining their clothes. It happens. We try to be careful, but it happens. And I've had them out for my people to wear, but sometimes they walk out the door. So I don't know what I should do. Maybe collect the keys as you're coming in and putting your apron on. Yeah, this is off a little bit right here. So I'll have to figure out how to get those keep those from walking out the door on me. If you really want one of your own, I can get you one. But all right, that's down pretty good, I think. All right, so we're gonna do the same exact technique, although I could use some of this red in there. I don't know how it would look. I just don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it the same as this one. There's that little star. Yeah, I'm gonna do them the same. I think it's gonna look pretty nice. So these are my primitive pumpkins. But again, you can do these with bright colors. You can do them in, I've seen people do them in pastels. There's a thing where I think it is kids that have peanut allergies, you can put is it a blue pumpkin you're in? Awesome. You too, Cindy. Betch, babe. All right, so let's get that bark out. I missed what you were thinking. Yep, I'm going to take your keys from now on. All right, where's that brown one? There it is. My squeegee's ready. Make sure it's all good. You don't want to be fooling around stirring paste while you have this, on your table with paste on it, because you do have to work a little quickly. So again, I'm going in with that bark, and I'm just kind of dabbing it a little bit along this seam. Notice I'm not using a ton. Don't want to use too much. You don't want it to have lines. Cindy, does this kind of remind you of the bottle that you did? Remember how it looked rustic and it looked pretty cool? Her transfer actually dried a little bit while we were working, and the effect that it had was perfect for the bottle she was working with. Okay, let's go up here, get this part. Okay, and now we're gonna go in with the papaya. While you guys are watching, again, thank you for hitting that SHARE button for me. That really helps build my viewers. Again, I'm starting in the middle of the pumpkin and working my way out. By putting the paste in the center and working my way out, is also attaching it to the transfer to the surface so that it's not moving, because it can move, especially if you're going like across or up and down this without starting in the center. That is my tip for the night. How's that? Can you guys hear the crickets out my window? It is so loud tonight. They are making a racket. I have the window open because for some reason when I'm in here, must be the lights, it just gets really, really warm when I'm live. I'm not really that nervous. That's not why I'm sweating. I'm just because it's hot in here. Okay, that's mostly on. I'm going to scrape a little bit off the center here because I used a ton. No dilly-dallying with this project, huh? All right, so I'm going to dab some of this up here, some of that I just took off, and put it up there. And we're going to go in and do the blending. Pull that in tight. Wet the fingers. And do the circular motions, round and around. You can hear them? That's so funny. It's loud. Between that and the tree frogs lately, holy cow. It's a symphony out there. Bubble right there. I felt that move. I tried. You shouldn't really see brown lines hardly at all if you've got this blended well. Need some more water. Those lines that I did right here are already starting to dry. I'm going to put a little more of this on there. Where's my squeegee? A little bit more down here. I'm working fast too, you guys. See that? It's still drying. I'm always telling people I'm not the fastest chalker. I've seen designers that can do a huge piece, like, you know, way bigger than this, without pulling their transfers off, and it doesn't dry. But for me, yeah, it does. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go, oops, let me do the brown stem. Don't want to forget that. And we'll scrape the excess off the pumpkin. So you want to try to get that as thin as you can. If it's thick, it kind of looks bumpy when you pull it off. So try to get it as thin as you can, but if you start to feel it feeling draggy, that means it's drying, and you don't mess around. Pull it up. So yeah, tomorrow night we're going to do the coordinating sign for these pumpkins. So you'll have a nice little trio to display. There we go. Voila. Okay. It's really cute, you guys. I love that we can make things look either playful, or we can, you know, tone them down a little bit like we just did by adding a little bit of shading and a darker, more sophisticated color. It looks really good. I really need some good lights. Okay. All right, so we're gonna dry this up a little bit. And we'll rub it up with our ink. I can see where I had a little bubble right there. Let's see if you can see it. See it right there? And it looks like it's supposed to be there. It really does. Alright, this is just going to take another second or two. So no pumpkin face, huh, you guys? It's definitely an option that you could do. And in my workshop, you can do it whichever way you want to. We can absolutely put faces on these or leave them just like this. If I had young kids at home, I'd probably put faces on them and do them in different colors. But now that my babies are big, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it a little bit more grown up looking. Alright, that should do it. Okay. Get that ink back out again. I do carry some of this ink in my shop if you guys are interested in some. Got a few of them right in there. So again, we're going to go around the edges and kind of tap it in, and that is going to give you that distressed vintage pumpkin look, which I like. My sister Michelle is she's got a very vintage look in her house. She'd probably love these. She's not watching tonight as far as I know. She hasn't said hello anyway. Those little dots gonna go around. I'm just covering all of those white areas with this ink, and it just softens it and makes it look a little bit more antique-y. Okay, let's get the center. What a difference it makes. I'll have to take a better picture of this tomorrow so you guys can see what a difference the just this little bit of distress ink makes if you like this look. If you don't like this look, use the brighter colors and don't add any brown shading. You actually could use some black around the edges, which would help make it pop too. But that's up to you. It's your pumpkin. So you think I should put the star on there? I love it. I'm kind of thinking I want to, because why not? See if I got all those bright white dots. There's a lot of them. Blend this a little bit more here. This one grubby pumpkin. All right, so let me cover this up, and then we'll decide about the star. Yes, for the star. It's really cute. I do like it, especially with the two of them together. I think we're gonna do it, guys. All right, I got hot glue cooking, and I think, yeah, tomorrow I'll probably grab a couple strands of raffia and tie it around the small pumpkin. I don't think I have anything else that would look good. Got some, oh, I could use this, I suppose. Let's see how that looks. You have another piece? I do. All right, tell me if you like this. then we'll glue that star on there. One of the things I like about primitive and antique looking things is they don't have fancy bows because I can't make them very well. What do you think of that? That's just a simple little jute twine. It does show up a little bit better when you're in person. We'll think about that. We'll put it there for now. Move these out of the way. Get my glue gun. Put that star on there. I really like the star. I think I got this probably when my kids were little and I was learning how to crackle, so this has kind of a crackled finish on it. So it's perfect for this kind of a primitive project. Let's put that right there. I try not to burn myself. There we go. I actually have some of these stars we can bring to the class too. All right, what do you think, guys? I think it came out adorable. I love it. So I have a little bit of glue that's squeezing out the edges there. So what I'll do is when it's a little bit cooler, I'm going to take my detail tool. This point, oh my gosh, I've been using it more than I ever thought I would. You can use it to scrape off those like tiny little things that you want to clean up a little bit. I've used it to paint a little tiny bit on, what did I do it on? The trick or treat one. What did it say? It said eek. I had one little spot on the E that didn't fill in, so I used the tip of this to fill in with a little bit of black. And I think I can also like clean up this glue. Let's see if it's soft enough. Yeah, it's good. I can pull, oh, wow. Pull that extra glue right out. Came right off. That is awesome. Good tool. I also had a girl do a kind of a shiplap board in one of my workshops last weekend. And some of the paste went down in the grooves between the pieces of wood, and we cleaned it right up with these. So it's a good thing to have. It's called the detail tool. So not only does it have this little pointy side, there we go. This side is a tiny little squeegee, so it's pretty useful. Okay, I'm a mess, but the pumpkins are not. They're awesome. So I hope you like these. I will be posting my class after I do the coordinating piece with the Jack-o'-lantern Shining Bright sign that will go with these. It'll all go together really, really nicely. And this will be a part of the class too. So it'll be 2 pumpkins and a sign. And we're probably going to use this background, which is our new double-sided box frame. So we'll just have to decide if we want to use the brown side, which might look good because it matches these dirty pumpkins really well, or we can use the white side. That will be the question. We'll decide that tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed this tonight. Share this video with your friends and family so that they can learn all about Chocolate Tour. And if you are not in my VIP group, be sure to sign up, write VIP in the comments so that I can add you in. And you can be invited to all of my local workshops as well as my sales. And while you were watching, if you thought this was really cool and you'd like to get paid to do what I do, let me know. Charlene, I'm going to get back to you about that. And we will see you again tomorrow night. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.